All right, so it is here. We have the initial college football rankings. We found this out last night. It was around 9:30. We waited a half an hour longer than we were supposed to, but hey, college basketball is back. But anyway, at the end of the night, we got our rankings. There was a lot of questions going into this. What were they going to think about teams like Clemson, who was the defending national champions? But has looked rough. What are they going to think about teams like Penn State? Do they believe that they're a legitimate contender? What do they think about the Big 12 versus the Pac 12? And how are these one loss, two loss teams going to stack up in the rankings? So we found this out last night. There were a couple big surprises for me. I think there was a couple big surprises for people in general. So we'll go outside of the top 10 in this video, but we're gonna start with the top 10. So at 10 they have 7-2 Florida, 9 Oklahoma, 8 Utah, 7 Oregon, 6 Georgia, 5 Clemson, 4 Penn State, 3 Alabama, 2 LSU, and 1, of course, the Ohio State University. So there was a lot of talk about Ohio State at number one. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So what does this say initially with this top 10? I want to point out the fact that Oklahoma is 9 behind both Utah and Oregon. Oregon coming in at number 7 right behind Georgia. To me, this is the committee telling Oklahoma, we don't believe in you. To me, this is saying that we think the Pac 12 is a lot more difficult of a conference than the Big 12. Or the Pac 12 is much more of a difficult conference than the Big 12, is what I was trying to say. That's what I read from this. With them putting not only Oregon, which I could see them putting Oregon in front of Oklahoma, but they go ahead and they put Utah as well in front of Oklahoma. Now, Utah has been performing very good this year. But there's a lot of high hopes with Oklahoma. Obviously, with Jalen Hurts, Lincoln Riley every year has proven to be a threat. So I was surprised that they decided to put both Pac 12 teams in front of Oklahoma. Like I said, I think that's a sign saying that they believe in the Pac 12 more than the Big 12. And actually, to me, them putting Utah and Oregon where they're at tells me that the Pac 12 is not completely out of it this year. I thought originally, once they lost Auburn, I thought it was over. I didn't believe in the Pac 12. I thought they would go with the Big 12 team over the Pac 12. But what this ranking is telling you is that they do believe in the Pac 12 over the Big 12. So keep going. Georgia at number 6. This is interesting because Georgia lost that game to South Carolina. It was a close game. Is it a game they should have lost? No, but it didn't hurt them that bad. They're still sitting at number 6. They control their own destiny. There's a lot that could happen. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But number 5, and this is where I think it's really interesting. They decide to slot in Clemson at 5. There's been people, I know Joey Galloway has been a guy who has said that Clemson still should be the number 1 team. I strongly disagree with that. I think even at 8-0, performing the way they have, they are not the same team. I thought going into the year, even though they would be losing the talent that they had, guys like Dexter Lawrence, Clelin Ferrell, guys like that, I thought you would have a little bit of a dip off, but I thought they were still the number 1 team. They have dumped off a lot as far as play style. And the committee putting them this low says even at 8-0, eye test matters. I think this is one of those things everybody talks about, stats. This is showing you, hey, we want to see it. We want to see the consistency of your performance. Can you handle certain teams and stay as dominant? At number 4, they put ahead of Clemson, Penn State. This is very interesting to me because as an Ohio State fan, we are playing Penn State in 2 or 3 weeks. This is interesting because Penn State is a team that has been very much um, looked at highly, but also looked at with a side eye of, do we really believe in them? They beat Michigan at Penn State after Michigan had a little bit of a comeback, but nevertheless, they've been rolling this year. They're 8-0. To me, this is saying when you put a team like Penn State in ahead of Clemson at the number 4 slot, that tells me that your performance week in and week out matters. It's not just about getting the win, it's about how you do it. This is what that's telling me. 3, Alabama. Um, you know, Alabama is a team who's normally really, really high. Usually in the 1 or 2 slot, you normally don't see them slip lower than that. But with the injury to Tua, there's a lot of questions there. Is he going to be fully healthy? Is he going to be able to be playing as dominant as he has? So I think 3 right now fits because with the questions there, you got LSU versus Alabama next. You're going to be able to answer some of those questions as far as Tua's health, how they're going to be able to match up against tougher opponent. So yeah, LSU comes in at number 2. LSU's a team who has played very well. You've seen them go on the road, I believe it was on the road, and play Texas, beat Texas. Now, the committee has proven once again with the Big 12 here that they don't believe in Texas. Texas isn't even in the top 25. So that tells you something about what they think about the Big 12. So I think that's going to hurt LSU in the end. But like I said, with a lot of these teams, they control their own destiny. LSU plays Alabama this weekend. It's at Alabama. Last year it was at LSU. This is a big time for LSU to come in and basically prove to the world that they should be in the top. Well, they're ranked 2 now, but a lot of people think they should be number 1. This is their chance to come in. If they can beat Alabama, control the game, look great, this is their time to prove it. They beat a couple really good teams. They beat Florida, who the committee likes, putting them in at 10. Oregon, or not Oregon, Auburn got put in at number 11. So they respect some of the teams that they've beaten. Are they going to be able to beat the number 3 team on the road? This is going to be the biggest test of the season, if not the year for LSU. Number 1, Ohio State. A lot of people disagree with this. Who have they played? The committee is saying in these rankings, now these rankings will change, but they're saying that they believe in Ohio State to a huge margin. They put in Cincinnati at number 20. They're 7-1 with only loss to Ohio State. They slotted in Michigan at 14, who will play Ohio State later. Michigan 7-2. Wisconsin, team that was ranked top 4, I think. At the time, I can't tell you. I don't remember. But they have them ranked 13 at 6-2. They have these teams with the 2 losses kind of stacked up. Who's the best out of them? They got Wisconsin ranked up there with an undefeated Baylor team, solid Auburn team, and a really good Florida team. So I think by them putting some of these teams that Ohio State faced or will face as high as they do, it's showing that they believe that Ohio State is not a phony. They believe that even though that we're playing teams that are not maybe the calibers of Alabama or LSU, that we're legit. And they slot in Penn State at 4. That tells me they really, really, really are high on Penn State. That matchup will be later at the shoe. Ohio State realistically could go into the playoffs with the number 1 seed. It could happen. So that's kind of the overview of things here. LSU plays Alabama this weekend, so somebody's going to have a loss there. I think Clemson, if I'm a Clemson fan, would I be upset? Yes, especially with Penn State being put in front of them. But reality is Clemson, all you got to do is win out. All you got to do is win out. And I can't see a situation where a committee puts a 1-loss SEC or a 1-loss Big Ten team over, or maybe a one-loss Pac-12 team over you. So hey, who knows? Clemson, I think this is a wake-up call that they need to come out and they need to play great, not just win, but look good doing it. So yeah, LSU, Alabama, somebody's going to move. Penn State, Ohio State, somebody's going to move there. At the end of the year, my prediction will probably be, I'm going to go ahead and say the playoffs are going to be in no particular order. I'm going to say Ohio State, LSU, Alabama, Clemson. There's teams that could find a way to slip in there, like Georgia and Oregon, Penn State maybe, but other than that, I think it's those top guys. So very excited to see that as a Buckeye fan, we are number one. We just got to come out, handle business, do what we are supposed to do, continue this domination, and that's actually what the chairman of the committee had said. It's not a matter of who has Ohio State played; it's a matter of how they've done it. We played a lot of teams that they respect in your Cincinnati's, in your Wisconsins. So Ohio State can look forward to the matchup with Penn State, number 4, Michigan, 14. So as it stands now, Ohio State would have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 top 25 opponents. So hey, that looks good on Ohio State's resume. It's going to be interesting. If I had to circle a couple of teams to pay attention to, it would be Oregon and it'd be Georgia. I think Oklahoma has to do a lot to get in. I think Oklahoma has to do what Ohio State did in 2014 and have a dominating win. Similar to the Wisconsin-Ohio State Big Ten championship game, in which Ohio State was ranked really low. They made their case, got in, won the national championship. First year, we know how it went. So, anything I disagree with, I think that Clemson should still be in front of Penn State. I wouldn't go that far. But like I said, it's the first rankings. Things are going to drastically change. So this isn't how it's going to be necessarily. It's just kind of more of a wait and see. Things will fix itself out. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I look forward to the rest of the year. So thanks for watching. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button, like the video, turn on your notifications. Let me know what you think. Do you disagree with any? And if so, tell me. So, hey, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.